Yes, I have seen the changes and the development in various fields. I came here in 1952 January, came by boat from Sri Lanka and landed in Penang. Then I had to come by plane to KL because there was no train service, damaged by the insurgent, railway lines damaged by the insurgent communist. So I came by plane. So when I came here, although this temple is today more than 100 years old, there was no proper room for me to sleep. We had a very old preaching hall open. So sleeping, eating, teaching, preaching, everything there in the same building. We demolished that one, I think nearly 15 years ago. Now built the K Sri Dhamananda, 3-story building. So there's only one road from main Brickfield Road to come to this temple. All the others are later development. And 2-3 houses in front of the temple, there are no any other houses around this area. So, you know, roundabout. In every roundabout, there's a signboard for the vehicle. Stop, look, go. For the vehicle. No overhead, what you call bridge at that time. And this piece of land was given by the British government at that time, 2 acres. Because when Sri Lankan Buddhists came to this country, they wanted to have a place of worship according to their own tradition. So when they visit Chinese temples, Thai temples, they could not understand the language problems and their traditions and customs. That is why they have applied a piece of land from the government and they got it. Then from time to time they have invited monks to stay here, but they could manage to serve only Sinhalese community, speak only Sinhalese language, because other people do not know that this is a temple. The language problems and activities are confined only for the Sinhalese Buddhists. Say nearly 50 years they maintain this. After my coming here, I thought, without associating with others, especially Chinese, there is nothing very much that we can do here in this country. Because Chinese are the Buddhists. When you take the population, among the Buddhist community, 98% Chinese. Only 2% belong to other races. Then the language problem. Those days, Chinese also, very few used to speak in English when they come to the temple. So they speak in Chinese, we speak in Sinhalese, like cock and bull. Cannot understand anything. Anyway, we could manage to make them to understand through an interpreter. So every time when you give talk, a Chinese interpreter. Then slowly people started to come here to learn. Then we started Sunday school, English section. They never had English section here. So then they started to send their children. Today we have more than 1,000 children in our Sunday school, conduct in English. Chinese classes also we have, but more English classes. Then the devotees and the members started coming and study Buddhism from this place. Because those days, in other temples, they never had such system like preaching, teaching, only go and do some offerings of flowers and joysticks and burn papers and that's all. That is Buddhism. Other than that, there's nothing. So, we started teaching to children, then we started youth, what you call activities, allow them to form separate youth groups to organize their activities, then giving public talk, preaching the Dhamma taught by the Buddha, then publication. They never had any publication in those days, Buddhist publication. So we started to write books and translate into Chinese. Then today, in many other temples also, they started in the same way. After learning from here, they started new Buddhist societies. Let us take Subanjaya Buddhist Society, Champak, and Banda Uttama, new Buddhist societies. All of them earlier learned Buddhism from here. So still they are communicating with us, we are working together. We also give a full support for them to go ahead with their activities. At the same time, all the existing universities, also we have formed Buddhist societies for the student. So regularly we had to go there to give talks, University of Malaya, UKM, UPM and USM. Either they come here or we go there to organize religious activities. So they are also active, still they are active. At that time, they had only devotional aspect. Go and do some offerings and worship, develop their devotion. But no knowledge, understanding who the Buddha is, what he preached, what we have to do, what not to do according to the teachings of the Buddha. There's no such knowledge. But today, after attending religious classes and religious talks and reading publications, they came to know what Buddhism is. Now they are also trying to introduce Buddhism among others, their youth and some other elders, by forming Buddhist societies in different. Today there are, I think, more than 200 Buddhist societies. But at that time, this was the only registered Buddhist societies in this country. Registered only 1894, more than 100 years ago. Only registered Buddhist society. Others are temple but not societies, not registered. But today there are more than 200 Buddhist societies all over the country. But most of them are youth. They are very active. Those who have studied Buddhism in the universities and colleges like Tar College and various other places, when they go back, they also try to introduce by doing something, organizing some activities. That is how it spread all over the country, including Sabah, Sarawak. that is different. Those days, they never organized to perform some religious services jointly. Individually or group by group, they come and do something, some offerings or chantings or worshipping, they go back. But today, all of them get together, jointly perform this religious service, just like church service, exactly like that. We have taught them. Formerly they never had that system. Because in Malaysia, there is no such thing as Buddhist culture. In fact, there is no one particular culture also in Malaysia, mixture of everything. Malay, Indian, Chinese, mixture of all these things in Malaysian culture. There is no one separate culture here. So, Buddhism also, Malaysia was a Buddhist country up to 14th century. Buddhism and Hinduism working together. Malaya, Java, Sumatra and all these places, countries. 1914, Sultan of Malacca became a Muslim, first time. After that, the whole country accepted Islam. Of course, population was very little at that time. So after that, the name of Buddhism completely disappeared from this country. When Chinese started to migrate from China, say about 19th century or 20th century, and settle down here, so they are the ones who introduced Buddhism again here in Malaysia, started Buddhism. Chinese Buddhism, that means the way how Chinese practice Buddhism is called Chinese Buddhism. Because whatever they do, Chinese culture, Chinese traditions, we can find in their activities, because it is a rich culture. So, they started to practice Buddhism according to Chinese tradition. Of course, China was a Mahayana Buddhist country. So, Chinese Mahayana Buddhism is there in their activities. Later, when Buddhists started to come from other countries like Sri Lanka and Burma and Thailand also, very close to Malaysia, they also come and join with these people to practice Buddhism, individually or jointly. And here we practice jointly, all together, without showing any discrimination.
But it's quite complicated.
Not complicated at all. We have been doing very well, no complicated. But we explain very clearly. When Chinese practice certain religious activities, there are Chinese traditions. These Chinese traditions are not Buddhist traditions. People must understand that. Let us take Chinese funeral. How many things are there for them to perform? But Buddhism has nothing to do with all these things. But others, like Christian missionaries and some others, think this is Buddhism. And they try to condemn Buddhist activities, especially younger generation. See how the Buddhists practice their funerals and all the other activities. But we have to explain, we follow Chinese tradition. That is not Buddhism. So when we practice Buddhism, we bring our Chinese tradition into this. Now then there is no misunderstanding. Now here in this temple, people want to burn papers. Usually we don't encourage anybody to burn papers here. But people come and burn, we never object. We allow them to do that. They can satisfy. But in our talk, in our publications, we explain how to practice Buddhism. Then slowly educated people give up all those unnecessary burnings and unnecessary practices when they are going to practice Buddhism without any misunderstanding. Now we work together with Mahayana, Chinese monks and societies, and Vajrayana, Tibetan, all together. We invite them, they invite us. Occasionally we join together. But we work individually when we perform certain activities. Whenever there is a big celebration like Vesak, all night chanting, we invite others also. They also invite when they organize some other activities. So we never had any conflict or discrimination. No one can predict, because everything is changing, the whole world. Today we are standing like this, tomorrow a lot of changes can take place. So we have to adjust our way of life according to these changes. Otherwise we cannot work, we cannot live. So we had to adapt our way of doing things by following circumstances. Then no disappointment, no clashes. Going on changing. But certain weaknesses in our Buddhist community we have noticed. When you compare with Christians and Muslims. Christians and Muslims, they have very strong unity among themselves. Brotherhood, understanding, cooperation. But among the Buddhists and Hindus, this attitude is very weak. Because they give moral support to others, their friends, their followers. But the Buddhists, most of them practice individually. That is our weakness. Take for instance, one of our members is very sick, but we never visit them, never give moral support and show our sympathy. But if we can do this, we can develop our relationship, goodwill and understanding, work together. Whenever there is a funeral, all the others assemble, do what they can. But Buddhists and Hindus are very rare. This is our weakness, especially younger generation. The most of those Christian workers are young people. The students, colleges, universities, various other places, they try their best to influence other students, bring them into their religion. But the Buddhists and Hindus never do that. Not necessary for us to bring others into our religion, but they must know how to defend, how to maintain their own religion. That is the weakness. Buddhists must get together, work together, give them moral support, understanding. Then we can develop our strength. That is lacking. I have written a book, Buddhist attitude towards other religions. Here I have mentioned. Here. So when we practice our religion, we have to organize our activities in such a way without arousing, without irritating, without disturbing the followers of other religion. Then we can maintain harmony and understanding to live together and work together. We have different traditions, different cultures, but we should not take the advantage saying that we have liberty to do whatever we like according to our tradition. But our way of doing, practicing this can become mockery, nuisance to others, to Muslims or Christians or Hindus. Therefore, we had to organize these activities in such a way without disturbing them. Take for instance, a Chinese funeral house. You invite those people to come and do some chanting and bang and bang and bang, and your next door, here Muslim, here Christian. Whole night you are going and banging and banging. Yes, you can do this at your own home, but you never think you are disturbing your neighbor. They are not the followers of your religion. Therefore, you have to organize such activities in such a way to do that without disturbing your neighbors. Otherwise, it can create misunderstanding. You see that recent clash between Malays and Indian. Minor thing, a funeral, they are having a wedding, they want to go through this. The others say, no, this is a wedding house, please go by other way. They by force they went. Yeah. Then trouble starts. Minor thing can spread all over the country. So, on such occasion, we must have patience and tolerance and understanding, knowing we are living in a multi-religious society. Minor incident can become a very arouse the racial arrogance and what you call violence. Well, for the development of the country and the nation, there are many things we had to learn, to practice, to maintain peace and order. Then each and every person can live without fear. You know, certain other countries, people are always in fear. Any moment, violence and bloodshed and disturbance can take place, if not war. But we are very fortunate here actually, although it is a multi-racial, multi-religious, multicultural society, still we could manage to maintain some sort of peace. Minor incidents have taken place, but we have not allowed to spread this all over the country. Now see what is happening in Indonesia, what is happening in certain other countries, Africa. So, because they have become racial, cultural, traditional, religious issue, and Christians and Muslims in Indonesia. But they use the name of Christians only for the namesake. It is not a religious issue, some sort of economy. Understand? Yeah. When they bring religion, then can arouse others' feeling, come forward, go and attack or disturb or protect. Therefore, we should not take the advantage of that to create some sort of what you call violence or disturbances or misunderstanding, knowing that we are living in a country multi-religious. You know, the book that I have written, What Buddhists Believe, there is one chapter on God, the concept of God. One journalist who wanted to review this book, he has written, the author of this book has written the concept of God knowing that he is in a Muslim country. Because I have written in such a way without committing myself, allowing people to understand, to accept.
That's good. This is a very good hint.
So I always advise our Buddhists, you should not say we don't believe in God. You create unnecessary misunderstanding. But our concept on God is different. Then settle our problem. Otherwise, all of us believe in God. But Muslim concept, Christian concept, Hindu concept, Buddhist concept on God differ. Then settle the problem.
So talk about yourself.
I have no self. My uncle was the chief monk of the temple in my village. I always come to the temple with my mother. I have altogether, we are 3 brothers and 3 sisters. I am the eldest in the family. So these chief monks keep an eye on me. When I was a small kid, come to the temple. Then he approached my mother, asking why not to allow this boy to become a monk. The mother cannot say no because the chief monk is her elder brother. Then discuss with the father. Father was not very happy. He said, he is the elder in the family. We have 2 more sons. Why not we ask one of them to become a monk?
Instead of you.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Then mother came and discussed with the chief monk. The chief monk said, no, I won't order this boy.
Why? Is there any particular reason?
Of course, he understood something. Then father also had to keep quiet. So at the age of 12, they asked my views, whether I like it or not. Just for curiosity's sake, I say, yes, I like it. Otherwise, I have no understanding what this way of life. So I was ordained in 1930. 1930, at the age of 12.
So all the way from
Then I studied 5 years in the temple. After that came to Colombo, main town. Studied 7 years, languages, religion, philosophy, psychology, all the important aspects in religion. After that, I received a scholarship in India, Benares Hindu University. 4 years, again, Sanskrit, Hindi, Indian philosophy, I studied. And gone back to Sri Lanka. Then, a letter from this temple, from this society, sent to the principals of the monks training center where we studied, asking to send a monk for the missionary activities here in this temple. So at that time, he had about 400 monks, young monks. But the principal has chosen me to send him.
why?
He said, go and ask him, how do I know?
Curious.
He has to ask whether I like to go.
1 out of 400.
After 400. He asked whether I like to go. I said yes. So 1952, I came here only for 2-3 years. My idea was to stay at least 2 or 3 years. But after coming here, these people did not allow me to go back. So I am still here.
50 years.
50 years now. That is how I came. I never knew anything about the country until I reached and associate with the public. And there another interesting thing. At that time, when we were studying, India and Sri Lanka, both these countries are fighting for gaining independence with the British government. Especially India, very strict. I studied English but I had no chance to talk. If I talk in English, people pass remark. Why monks want to talk in English? Pass remark. Because they hate the British. Then I went to India, studied English. They are worst, Indian. Scold us if you speak in English. So I studied, I can read, I can write, but I cannot talk, cannot open the mouth.
Not even what a single
Can,
word?
why not? Few words. Occasionally we talk when there are no public here and there. So until I come to this country, I had no chance to open my mouth to talk public. But it has taken some time for me to train how to talk. Knowledge is there, but how to pronounce the word and how to make the sentences, how to influence others, it has taken at least 1 or 2 years for me to train myself. That's an interesting part, you know. When I was 18 years old,
18.
I don't know anything about all these countries, I felt that this way of life is very dull. When I see how other young boys enjoy their life, I am more or less a prisoner in the temple. No freedom, no, cannot enjoy, cannot joke, cannot dance, cannot sing, nothing. Then went to see my mother and told her, actually I don't like this way of life. I want to come back home. My mother was not an educated lady. She cannot read, she cannot write. In those days, you know, they never go to school. Just like Afghanistan today, ladies, girls cannot go to school. So, she told, if you come home, you can attend only to your wife and your children. If not, you can look after us. But we have 2 more sons and 3 daughters. They can attend to us. But there is one thing that they cannot give us. The happiness that you give us, other children cannot give us. Because you are a religious man. You are doing some service to others. But my other children are not doing that. So when I see how you are doing your religious work, we gain wonderful happiness if you remain in the room. On the other hand, if you come home, you can serve only to your wife and children. But if you stay in the robe, you can serve everybody in this world. I see how deep her understanding. Then I decided to stay back. Nothing special actually. I have traveled all over the world. America, England and Australia, New Zealand and Korea, Japan, Mongolia, all those places to attend various conferences and the meetings. So I have learned a lot by observing, you know, their way of life and how they practice Buddhism in different countries. And also we could manage to contribute something, some ideas, the teachings of Buddha, and could manage to develop our relationship and friendship. So almost every day we are receiving letters from various countries asking our publications. Our publications are very popular in many other parts of the world because there is a Buddhist society in Taiwan. They reprint our publications about 50,000, 75,000 copies at a time and distribute all over the world free of charge. Every country. We get letters from Iran, Iraq, and what you call Israel, Africa, after reading those booklets. Even yesterday I made one, here you can see. After reading one book, he has returned this letter to me asking a prayer book and what you call beads. I am sending by air.
South Africa.
South Africa. Gone up to that extent, all our publications. And in many countries, people have translated into their own language, reprinted. According to my knowledge, so far I think they have translated into 14 other languages, our publications here. Especially in Indonesia, Taiwan, Korea, Sri Lanka, India, Spanish, Dutch, Portuguese, Russian, translated many of our publications. They like our publications because easy to understand. That is called understanding. Not when we develop our narrow-mindedness, we confine our activities only to one area. We can expand to another. Cannot agree with others, but we must know how to work. We need their cooperations also. We also must extend our cooperations and understanding toward them. So the harmony and understanding and goodwill that we develop is remarkable, that we gain some sort of confidence for us to carry on our activities without fear and without worries, without any hindrances. Now they are learning. You can see in many places now, many temples, they are organizing orphanage, old folks home, free medical center, free tuitions and so many other activities. Formerly they never had this kind of thing. So slowly, how many dialysis centers are there organized by the Buddhists? So they started already going on spreading. And youths also, we encourage them to get together, organize some social gatherings, not only talking about religion and praying and worshipping, some sort of entertainment, harmless way. They organize some activities, then can influence other young people. Now Christians are doing this very well. They influence young people, entertain them, then slowly influence.
But how to balance it?
Not easy to balance, but we try our best to do what we can. They started already in various places. Do some service to others. That is Buddhism. Without serving others, we cannot serve ourselves. To serve others, we had to develop kindness, sympathy, understanding, cooperation, all the good qualities. By cultivating these good qualities, we serve ourselves. Without serving others, we can serve ourselves. Now we observe precept. not to kill, not to steal, not to do this and that. By observing this, we allow others to live peacefully. That is our service. They can live without fear because we don't go and disturb them. It is a service. Yes, they must understand this is a religion that we appreciated by intellectuals all over the world, irrespective of their religion. Scientists, psychologists, great thinkers, philosophers, rationalists, even free thinkers, because they have seen truth and wisdom in this religion. When you refer to various scholars, scientists like Albert Einstein and all those people, what they have said about Buddhism, you can understand this. Therefore, if they can understand this, they do not surrender this religion very easily to accept another religion, because they can satisfy with this religion. So there is nothing that we can find in any other religion which we cannot find in the teachings of the Buddha. If they can understand this, it's more than. Second reason, the freedom that Buddhists experience by following this religion, they cannot find in any other religions, because they follow the law given by the religious authorities. Threatened, they will be punished if they break. Because of fear, they follow their rules. The Buddha did not introduce any religious law. They do not practice Buddhism because of fear, through understanding. The Buddha has given us the knowledge to understand why these things are wrong, why these things are right. But all the others follow this as a law given by the God, not knowing why these things are wrong, why these things are important. But we practice this through understanding. So it's not necessary for us to have religious laws, religious punishment, religious commandment, through our understanding. The Buddha started his mission with right understanding, not with faith or belief. Eight Noble Path, the first item is right understanding. If they can understand, they know how to value this noble religion. Another thing, for the last 2,500 years, in any part of the world, you cannot find a single bloodshed in the name of Buddhism. 2,500 years. All the other existing religions started with bloodshed, from the beginning up to this end. Blood, nothing but blood. War. How many times they have declared war with this religion and that religion, and again different denominations of the same religion. Christians and Catholics and Protestants and this denomination. Hindus also, different denomination. Even Muslim also in certain countries, when they divide into two groups, how they do. But in Buddhism, not a single drop of blood ever shed in the name of religion or because of Buddhism. Buddhists might have done that, but not in the name of Buddhism. These are the remarkable achievements, the teaching. Let us take another example. Recently, they have blasted and destroyed most historical, biggest two Buddha statues in Afghanistan. If people have done this to another religion, you can see violence and bloodshed in many parts of the world. How Buddhists accepted this quietly, very peaceful way without disturbing others. This is the uniqueness of the teachings of the Buddha. I value in this way. I never worry for myself, but I had to worry for others. When others have problems and sicknesses and disturbances and come and report to me, then I have to think what to say, what to do, how to adjust, how to support them. That is my way of life. Again, when I compare my life with my 2 brothers and 3 sisters, I can see the difference. They are working day and night like slaves. I am independent. I can sit down here and shake my leg, go on thinking what to say, what to write. Always certain good thought. No jealousy, no anger, no enmity, no grudge, no ill will in my mind, no reason. Mind is free always. But all the others are fighting for their property and incomes and children's and grandchildren's. I have nothing to worry. I am not scared of my wife. I am not scared of my children. I am independent. This freedom others can experience. Real freedom.
Do you regret? Do you ever regret?
No, I never regret for that. I appreciate it. Tomorrow I can go around the world without telling anybody. But another person cannot do that. It takes at least few months to prepare for that. No, I have no aim. I have no ambitions, no aims. I work according to circumstances. Then no disappointment. No plan, no big project for me to go ahead. I work. When people need something, I go and attend. I do that today. Then tomorrow also the same. I have no idea of going to heaven to enjoy my life. I do my work. My next existence takes place according to my thoughts, my words, my action, not according to my ambition, not according to my faith or belief. Thoughts, words and action. How far they are good or how bad they are. Next existence take place according to this activity. So no point of aiming, I want to become this and that or sort of thing. Well, we have to continue. There are so many things. We cannot start new projects. So many things. We have to continue all the activities that we have started long ago. Classes, preachings, teachings, publications, and what you call supporting others in every possible way. That is enough.